Hi, and welcome to your Microsoft Teams tutorial. I'm Mr. Hunter. In order to get to Microsoft Teams, first we need to go to the Burning Wolf website. At the very top of the Burning Wolf website, you will see the Office 365 link. By clicking on the link, it will open Office 365 online. Now, if you're on a school computer, it will probably automatically sign you in, but since I am not, I now need to sign myself in. I will use my email address, which I use for school. For me, that's my email address. For most students, your email address will be whatever your login is for a computer at retsdstudent.ca. Click Next. I will click the worker school account because it's a worker school account, and then I will type in my password. It's the same password I use to log into a computer. Upon entering my active credentials, it takes me to the Office Online homepage. You'll notice I have a bunch of tiles at the very top. The first one that we are going to click onto is click the Teams tile, and that should open up Teams in a new tab. Now you'll notice as a teacher, my homepage looks a little bit different than most. You'll notice I do have a bunch of my teacher groups up at the top, and then at the bottom I have my different classes. Now for teachers, what I'm going to show you is how to edit. So first you notice how all of the icons default to the same icon. I'm going to go through and I'm going to change my icons, and I'm also going to change the description of the class. So I'm going to click on the three dots. I'm going to click on Edit Team. Now over here, when I look at this right here, I'm going to, under Subject, I'm going to click and I'm going to scroll down, pick Physical Education, and I'm going to select a different icon. And I'm also going to change the name. I'm going to reduce all of this clutter. I'm going to change the class name to 6C Phys Ed 1920 because that's the school year. I'm going to click Update, and then all of a sudden, that one class now has all that information changed. Once I do that change, it brings you to the home page for the team. In order to get back to all my other teams, I'm just going to click the icon up here and return to Teams. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go through and I'm going to do all those changes for all of my different classes. Now that all of my class tiles have magically changed, you'll notice how they all have a different icon down at the bottom. A few more things to notice. If you look up at my Epitoric group up here, you'll notice how not only is the font bold, but there's also a number at the top. That implies that there's actually two different changes or two different updates on those groups. So you'll notice that the groups that are in bold, those are the groups that I should probably check first because we will have some updates from those groups. Now I'm going to give you a brief overview of what each individual team looks like, and for the purposes that you're actually going to use it. So first I'm just going to click on my one team. I'm just going to select 8A. And it's going to automatically take me to the front page. For a teacher, if this is your first time, you may need to actually click the Setup Class Notebook. You'll be able to notice it should be up top, but if it doesn't work for you, you need to actually set it up yourself. It's pretty straightforward. As for everybody else, you'll notice that with the tiles at the top, you'll notice Files, Class Notebook, Assignments, and Grades. I can actually make assignments up here, and I can help assign grades as well. These are things that they're using for sure at the high school level. I'm probably going to leave those aside for right now. What I'm going to focus on is the class notebook section. So in my class notebook section, it's automatically just going to take me to the front page of the notebook once it loads. Or it should have taken me, so you'll notice how I've got the front page, and you'll notice I've got a few different spaces. So what I have so far, you'll notice how there's the welcome area, I've got a collaboration space, I've got content library, and then for me as a teacher, I've actually got the name of every single student that's in that class in alphabetical order. The reason why you need these different spaces. So the collaboration space is in exactly that. It's the space that you can use where multiple people can use the same sheets or the same pages at the same time. I've set up a sample assignment right here. So this right here could be a page. Let's say Mr. Beguer and I were doing a project together and we didn't want to have to share it, or we didn't want one of us to only have access to it. So we would do that in here. Mr. Beguer and I both know that this right here is our project. This is our project to work on. Now, if Mr. Bergera was actually logged in at the same time, he could also be typing in real time, and both of our typing would show up at the same time. In order to get back, I press the arrow up at the corner. So collaboration spaces for that. To add new pages, you simply click down here. That's where I would add new pages if I was a student or if I was a teacher who was looking to put together projects from people. Now, a couple reminders. When you are using the collaboration space, you can edit your work, and so can everybody else's. Or you can edit everybody else's. You can also see, as a teacher, we can see who does the edits. So you should not be going in and editing anybody else's work. And if you do that, we can actually tell who did it. The next one that you're going to look at is the content library. So in the content library, that's where we would put all of our notes or things like that that students can't edit, but they can see. So this would be a good place to put things like notes or quizzes or things like that where students are going to want to be able to look at, but you don't want them to have the opportunity to change or edit or accidentally delete. Everything in the content library is going to be uploaded by the teacher, and the students can see but can't edit themselves. Finally, for the individual students, you'll notice how I have this right here, but they will have their own personal their own tab for their own personal work. Now here in this space, when they put things in these tabs, you will see that it can only be viewed by the person whose folder it is and by the teacher or the administrator of the group. So the tabs we've got so far are handouts, homework, class notes, and quizzes, but those can be changed by individual teachers and they can be changed for each different subject. And that's typically where we would get you to hand your homework in. So if you had the homework here as a student, you could simply create a page, you would title it whatever the assignment's titled, and that's where you could hand in your homework. I hope that that answers any of your basic questions about Teams. If it doesn't and you need to get a hold of me, what you can simply do is you can, in the chat for Teams, you can simply click on chat. You can find my name and then you can send me a message and ask. Now, I'm not going to respond to every single animated GIF that gets sent to me, but if you do ask, have a legitimate question, I will answer it on there. Thanks for following the tutorial.